ladylike.
One of the most powerful swimmers is the hammerhead. Located at each side of its anvil-shaped head is an eye, a nostril, and sensory organs which help them to steer and to detect prey more easily. Hammerheads are known to form schools of up to 200 sharks around undersea volcanic peaks. Most fish school for protection, but the hammerheads have no natural enemies. So what are they doing here? It's from these volcanic peaks that the sharks travel out at dusk to feed, returning at dawn. The hammerheads often travel along fixed paths, which seem to correspond to where lava has seeped through the sea floor, creating magnetic fields. They may be using their widely spaced ampullae of Lorenzini to aid in scanning for these magnetic highways.
Coming up, a shark attack leaves lasting scars and a unique curiosity. Next on Wild Discovery. Tonight, Nigel is back.
The things I do for Discovery.
Join adventurer Nigel Marvin on a quest for curious creatures.
He's absolutely gorgeous.
Tonight, Nigel discovers the killer instincts of nature's top predators and reveals the world's deadliest natural-born killers. Nigel's Wild Wild World, tonight at 8 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel. And visit Nigel's fan site at discovery.com for exclusive clips of Nigel's shark encounter.
Throw away the wrinkle cream. Leave the vitamins at home. Cast your cholesterol score to the wind. And if you see the Surgeon General, buy him a shot. Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas. Call now for special room rates.
Today at IBM.com, we're talking about the things on the go a business person needs to keep everything running like a top. Like this little beauty right here. It is the perfect carry-on. In fact, the award-winning IBM ThinkPad I-Series is so well suited to business travelers, I got my buddy Captain Frank, a real-life pilot, to tell us more.
Folks, this is your captain speaking. On the left of the ThinkPad I-Series, you'll see 2 USB ports, and over on the right, a nifty built-in modem. We have a great multimedia machine here, folks, with CD-ROM, stereo speakers, 13.3-inch TFT display. This is a genuine IBM, folks. Intel Celeron processor, 700 megahertz, 64 megs of RAM, under 6 pounds, all for just $999. Plus, folks, you're going first class. Buy this I-Series with the Intel Celeron processor today for just $999, and you can get double the memory free.
Thanks, Captain.
We know you have your choice of computers, so we thank you for choosing IBM.
Do you ever get to hit the eject button?
My name is Oscar De La Hoya. I've earned 5 world championship titles. But what I'm most proud of are the kids at my youth center. I believe in giving back. It's what I do in my community. And it's what the cable industry does with Cable in the Classroom.
Watch this.
In schools everywhere, teachers use free cable technology to connect kids to commercial-free educational programs, study guides, and powerful internet support.
For education, Cable in the Classroom is a winning combination.
Cable in the Classroom is a public service of Discovery Channel and your local cable company.
Wild Discovery.
Some shark species are known to range over huge distances. Blue sharks, for example, travel thousands of miles. Females have been recorded crossing the Atlantic to give birth to their young. The current long-distance record is held by a blue shark tagged off New York and recaptured 3,740 miles away off the South American coast. They may be successful predators, but sharks are vulnerable. Their numbers are dwindling in many ocean habitats, and this could set off a series of chain reactions in the marine ecosystem. If shark numbers fall dramatically, populations like the sea lions around the Australian coast may well explode. The sea lion's food supply of crustaceans and small fish would soon be dangerously depleted if the sea lion population itself were not kept in check. Sea lions remain prime targets for sharks like the great whites. The great white's appetite for prey like sea lions may indirectly lead to their downfall in the waters around Australia. Many of Australia's beaches are surrounded by nets designed to deter shark attacks on people. Viewed from underwater, it's not difficult to imagine why sharks like the great white might mistake a human for a sea lion. Shark attacks on humans are often a case of mistaken identity. No one knows better the exact feeling and power of a great white shark attack than Rodney Fox. At the age of 23, he was attacked by a great white while spearfishing. His art gallery in Adelaide is a testament to his fascination for the species that nearly tore him apart more than 30 years ago. Bleeding profusely, it took 462 stitches to put him back together.
This is the size of the shark that got me in 1963. It's about a 10-footer and only quite a juvenile shark. Whereas over here on the wall you've got a much, much larger shark, a 17-footer, which if that one had grabbed hold of me, it would have easily torn me in half.
His violent close encounter left Rodney Fox with lasting physical scars and a strong desire to understand this ferocious but magnificent animal. Today, he loves to meet with his powerful friends. For years, Rodney Fox has been bringing tourists and photographers to witness the great white up close.
The interesting thing about the great white shark is that each one has its own personality. There are some that just race right in and grab hold of the bait and eat it immediately. There are some that are shy, I had a 17-foot great white shark come in and gently take a tuna out of my hand with such gentle movements that you couldn't believe this from the monster that it was.
Rodney Fox knows better than anyone how and where to find the great white shark.
We feed these tuna here to the sharks in bite-sized pieces, and we don't want to fill them up too fast if they come around the boat. Now we'll just put this balloon and hang it out of the back over the stern of the boat. And now for some delicious stew. This little mixture here is minced up tuna with some extra tuna oil added to add an odor corridor. As the tide goes along, it'll take pieces of the meat away as we slowly do it, and the oil, and make a track for the sharks. When they hit it, they'll know, because they know which way the tide is running. They'll come all the way back to the boat.
But this time, his tried and tested methods don't seem to be working. He dives to get a better look. But the answer is no different below than above. There are no sharks.
This is the 8th day that we've been out in all my favorite spots. I don't think that at this time there are very many sharks around here. They must be off to a better restaurant somewhere else. Either that, or they're being killed faster than we like to think about.
It's becoming almost a rarity these days to see great white sharks in waters that were once famous for having some of the largest populations in the world. And while some sharks seem to be disappearing, we're still having our first encounters with other shark species, like the prehistoric-looking Greenland shark. This first ever footage reveals details of an animal that puzzles researchers. The gill slits on this female are slung unusually low. But why? These crescent-shaped markings may be the bite marks left by an amorous male. Could these parasites dangling from its eye help lure prey closer to its razor-lined mouth? As we come to know this and other sharks better, we find there are still more questions than answers. We do know that sharks can be cunning, ferocious, even comical. But they certainly don't deserve their reputation for mindless evil. Sharks have been swimming the oceans for over 400 million years. They survived the extinction of dinosaurs and will probably be here long after we're gone.
Travel the globe probe and hang out with the locals. Discover the skill and beauty of our natural friends. Experience the wilder side of life. Watch Wild Discovery at its new time. Weeknights at 6 and 7. Only on the Discovery Channel. Tonight on the Discovery Channel, Nigel Marven reveals the deadliest natural-born killers. Then catastrophes that push you beyond human limits. Later, a little girl stops her cancer treatments on A Time to Live. The bright searchlights of our space exploration technologies are shifting toward the deep blue sea and rediscovering its oldest living secret, the shark, with the eyes of the future. Next.
It soars through liquid skies like some ancient bird of prey. But its forays into the underwater heavens are few. The winged angel shark is an earthbound creature that seldom ventures from its sandy hiding place. A study in contrasts, the angel shark can appear placid and sluggish, but few predators are as fast and deadly while hunting. At home on the bottom, the well-camouflaged angel is a master of disguise, burying itself in the sediment. Lying motionless, it is a lethal weapon, poised to bite. In a fraction of a second, the angel shark has struck. Its nightmarish jaws distending alien-like from its head to snare its unsuspecting prey. Of all the sharks, few are more specialized, and none are capable of such speed in short bursts. The angel takes flight through its California kelp forest home to seek other hunting grounds. But now the shark is about to turn from hunter to hunted. It has entered the territory of some very curious California sea lions, which are probably more intent on play than attack, but may view the shark as a competitor for food. The slow-swimming angel is unable to escape the dive-bombing sea lions. It heads for the bottom and lies still, which is both a hunting technique and a means of camouflage. But the persistent sea lions are not fooled. They're determined to drive the angel away. And with a surprising final burst of speed, the shark complies. Now exhausted, the angel shark takes refuge in a sandy patch, where it will again undertake the process of becoming invisible. Of the more than 370 species of shark, this stealthy predator ranks as one of the most mysterious. It is seldom seen and increasingly difficult to find. But now, new technology has arrived to uncover the mystery of the angel shark. A tiny, remote-operated vehicle probes the temperate waters of Southern California's Santa Barbara Island in search of angel sharks. Equipped with the latest in miniaturized cameras, the remote-operated vehicle, or ROV, sends a video signal topside, where shark biologist Dr. Rocky Strong can explore the underwater landscape with the ease of operating a video game. The limitations of scuba diving restricts underwater observation time. Today, technology lends scientists a helping hand.
I'm searching along the bottom here in about 70 feet of water. Seeing lots of sandy patches and what looks like good habitat for angel sharks. The truth is you just can't stay long enough to thoroughly search these areas, and especially the deeper areas, and the ROV can stay indefinitely.
Descending to the ocean floor, the tiny craft hits scientific pay dirt.
I've got one. There he is. Beautiful, medium-sized angel shark. Partly buried with sand, but easy to find in this case because he's mostly exposed.
Using the ROV as well as underwater surveillance cameras, Strong embarks on an effort to make long-term observations of angel sharks in their natural habitat.
The objective of this study is to, for the first time, nail down what an angel shark is as a predator to its environment. How often it feeds, how many times out of those attempts it misses its prey, and just how many times a day it gets a chance to feed. Because it basically has to sit in the bottom and wait on its food to come along.
Once the ROV locates a shark, Dr. Strong uses an underwater scooter to quickly reach the animal's hiding place. It is the first angel shark spotted in these waters in several days of searching. Strong cannot afford to lose it. The predator is so well camouflaged, it is nearly impossible to find, even with an exact fix on its position. Strong combs the sandy bottom time and again with no luck. Then a glimmer in the sand catches his eye. The shark has not moved, but buried itself deeper. Most human encounters with angel sharks are accidental. Divers who foolishly provoke this normally sedentary creature by pulling its tail often pay the price by receiving serious bites. Strong approaches the shark cautiously. Without disturbing the animal, he places a temporary ID tag on its rear dorsal fin to help make it more visible should it move away. The shark has passed its audition. In a few moments, it will become the star of its own television show.
So we found a shark, and now we're going to place this remote video camera, come back to the boat, set a radio relay, and then just move completely out of this area.
Strong becomes the first marine biologist to use a remote 24-hour-a-day surveillance camera to study a shark's behavior in the wild. Though many species have been observed around the clock in captivity, Strong's work will document the angel shark's natural behavior in its own environment. And even more importantly, he'll be able to learn about the animal without harming it. Killing and dissecting sharks in the wild were once the only means marine biologists had at their disposal.
I think this 24-hour-a-day surveillance potential is going to open new doors into understanding sharks. Previous to this, you could just catch the animal, cut it open, and infer about everything else that this animal does out there when it's laying in the wild.
Like a movie maker, Strong slates each shark before recording the shark on video. The tapes will reveal how often these animals feed, the time of day they are most active, and their favorite prey. The camera sends its video signal topside through a long cable that is connected to a floating radio buoy. Acting as a television transmitter, the buoy beams the camera's signal to the research boat that can be positioned up to several miles away. Strong can then monitor the animal live or tape the video feed for study later.
This is the way to do it. Spying on an angel shark.
The use of this high-tech espionage is very important to successfully observe sharks. The mere presence of a human can often alter the animal's behavior. The silent but all-seeing camera is one of the best methods science has to tread quietly in the underwater world. After feeding, the angel shark is again spotted by playful sea lions. Hours of research are in jeopardy. Strong must immediately take to the water and give chase to avoid losing the shark in mid-study. The scientist readies an acoustic pinger he hopes to attach to the shark that will allow him to track its movements. He approaches from behind, out of the shark's field of vision and away from its powerful jaws. The challenge is to attach the pinger without stressing the animal so much as to seriously alter its behavior. The angel is startled but unharmed and commences a slow, deliberate retreat to deeper water. Immediately, the pinger gives off an audible signal that will allow Strong to track it as it moves around the seas of its island home. Back on board the research vessel, the audible signal is received by a hydrophone, which determines the direction the shark is swimming. As the shark moves, Strong pursues.
Need to go port.
Tracking its direction by listening for increases or decreases in sound levels. The track may continue for hours. Plotting the shark's movements will allow scientists to get an accurate picture of just how much area a single animal utilizes day to day.
Well, she's moving. For an angel shark, she's moving. It's hard to keep up with the animal, but they don't move it but every day or two.
The track is a success. At sunset, the shark again settles into the sandy bottom. Now, Strong awaits his chance to monitor these lethal predators under cover of night.
When we come back, a first glimpse into the nightlife of angels. How after-hours surveillance reveals much more than their resting habits.
This program is brought to you in part by Motrin, for people who don't fool around with pain.
When your child has a high fever, you head straight for the Children's Motrin. When you're hurting, don't you wish there was a Mom's Motrin? There is Motrin IV. Fast, long-lasting, able to beat tough pain in a single dose. Motrin IV for moms who don't fool around with pain.
C-Dot. C-Dot run. See where Dot gets all her energy.
I love this bed.
Sealy Posturepedic. We support you night and day.
You're watching the Discovery Channel. Up next, natural-born killers on Nigel's Wild Wild World.
Say you're in New Jersey and you want to be in Maui, hypothetically. On travel website A, you'd find about 16 flight options. Website B, around 9. But on Orbit, the travel website from the airlines, you'd find over 100. That's the most you can get. So in Maui, you can relax knowing you got the most low fares. That'd be a pretty good feeling, don't you think? Visit Planet Earth via Orbitz.com from the world's leading airlines.
Some enchanted evening.
Bring home Rodgers and Hammerstein's South Pacific, featuring some of the most memorable songs ever. The all-new production is available to own on DVD and video August 28th.
You're watching the Discovery Channel. Up next, natural-born killers on Nigel's Wild Wild World.
Who'd you expect? Bob Dole?
Follow Mark Martin and the Viagra racing team this season. Get to your doctor for a checkup and find out if a free sample of Viagra is right for you.
And for more information right now, race over to Viagra.com.
Next Monday, go back to school with the Discovery Channel. This is the classroom. These are your teachers. Go back to school all day next Monday beginning at 9 a.m. Only on the Discovery Channel.
It is possible to be ticked off at your teenager 24 hours a day. The reason for this is that we fill their lives with so many negatives. Don't do this, don't go there. And we really do not provide viable alternatives. The Second Family has built a facility just for teenagers. And from 57 different high schools, they come here and they experience life. And many of them discover real life.
Time Warner Cable has local customer service you can rely on. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I like the on-time guarantees I get with Time Warner Cable.
The Time Warner Cable office is right here.
I like the convenience of that and knowing that they will be there when I need them.
With Time Warner Cable, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Unlike satellite dish, Time Warner Cable is easy to get. I just made one call.
Time Warner Cable, the very best in TV, keeps getting better.
Darkness falls on Santa Barbara Island. Strong readies his equipment and slowly descends into the frigid waters. The shark has come to rest on the featureless bottom of the island's east side. The Angel is completely buried and deathly still. Strong hopes to discover how active this predator is at night, and whether its remarkable senses operate to guide and trigger its jaws just as well as in daytime. Hour after hour, Strong notes the shark has remained motionless.
Well, it's been better than 8 hours with this animal. No strikes so far. And we've been through the better part of the day in the dusk period, which is when things usually happen. The impression that I'm getting is that they don't eat but once a day or twice a day at the most.
Finally, near daybreak, the scientist and the shark both get what they've been waiting for. The next morning, the camera continues to monitor the first shark, while Strong once again uses the ROV to search for another.
Historically, I've had an easy time finding angel sharks. 8 or 10 animals per dive. Nowadays, it's a matter of finding one animal over here, getting up, going to the other side of the island, finding another animal, and sometimes not even finding an animal. And that's been a result of overfishing. 60 feet, 70. I think I've got one. Yep, right there. Look at that guy. Holy moly. They're hard to see. This guy's not too buried, though. He's kind of part way out of the sand. Look at that. Isn't technology wonderful?
Now, Strong will attempt to capture this newly discovered angel shark and bring it topside. He hopes to find out what the shark has been feeding on, but it won't be easy. For their size, angel sharks are incredibly powerful, and the scientist is already well aware of the speed of their deadly bite. The shark has escaped the net, and now, startled, will be even more difficult to snare. The pursuit is on. At last, Strong entraps the shark. He attempts to keep the animal calm while being ever mindful of its lightning-quick jaws. When stressed, sharks are known to discharge their stomach contents. Strong must carefully surface with the thrashing predator, hoping it won't empty its belly. Breaking from past methods for examining a shark's diet, Strong has perfected a technique for obtaining the stomach contents without harming the shark.
she's got a little nervous. Just stick her in the pan, in the net. Don't let her out in the hot already. Flipping out. They struggle, but it's not that bad. They fight, but as you can see, they relax after a while.
Strong will first anesthetize the shark, then pump its stomach. Although the shark is now relatively calm, the scientist must still be cautious.
How was that? See that mouth go?
Yeah, fast.
Just a lethal weapon that just fires out of the skull all at once.
Once the animal is completely sedated, Strong measures and examines it.
One of the neatest things about angel sharks are these big spiracles, these big holes behind the eyes. These are basically like a snorkel, but since his mouth is oftentimes concealed in the mud itself, they breathe using those.
Nature has even equipped the patient angel shark with a lure of sorts. Tiny flaps that ring the mouth and attract fish close, sometimes resulting in a quick demise. Now Strong begins the process of pumping the angel shark's stomach.
So I put this tube right down the throat to help protect the lining of the throat while I pump water down it. All right. So the tube is down inside the belly right now. And if there's anything in the stomach, we should be seeing it momentarily. To say this shark, like many of the sharks out there, is ripe and ready for its next meal. You'd normally expect this shark to have fish in its belly, but also a surprising amount of the time, octopus. There it is. Fish. That'd have been about a 5-inch long fish. It looks like it might have been a blacksmith, actually, which is one of their favored prey.
Once the shark awakens, it is released back into the ocean, hungry but unharmed. Dr. Strong's pioneering work is giving science its most in-depth look yet at a creature that has been studied for nearly 450 years. In 1558, when sharks were mostly considered sea monsters, French naturalist Guillaume Rondelet wrote about the angel shark. He called it a monkfish, describing a creature with a man's face, rude and ungracious, the head smooth and shorn. On the shoulders, like the cloak of a monk, were 2 long fins in the place of arms. Only now, thanks to technology, can sharks like the angel be appreciated rather than feared.
Up next, sharks rarely fall prey to sickness. What's their secret? And does shark cartilage fight off cancer cells in humans? Some answers when we return. Next, Nigel is back.
The things I do for Discovery.
Join adventurer Nigel Marvin on a quest for curious creatures.
He's absolutely gorgeous.
Next, Nigel discovers the killer instincts of nature's top predators and reveals the world's deadliest natural-born killers. Nigel's Wild Wild World, coming up next at 8 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel. And visit Nigel's fan site at discovery.com for exclusive clips of Nigel's shark encounter.
Hey, what are you putting in over there?
DirecTV system.
Satellite, huh? I already got like 70 cable channels.
Well, this thing can get over 225 if you want them, all 100% digital quality.
It's on. It's on. It's unbelievable. I have a riding mower.
That's great, sir.
Now get our best programming package free for 4 months, plus free installation.
When your child has a high fever, you head straight for the Children's Motrin. When you're hurting, don't you wish there was a mom's Motrin? There is Motrin IV. Fast, long-lasting, able to beat tough pain in a single dose. Motrin IV for moms who don't fool around with pain.
Morning, Bob.
Morning, Heidi.
I'll pick Phil up from soccer.
Want to make the most of your day? Make the most of your night. Sealy Posturepedic.
I love this bed.
We support you night and day.
When my job transferred me to Japan, it was moving home for me. But for my husband, it was 7,000 miles away from diners, friends, football. I try to keep things around that make it feel a little more like home. Like this t-shirt collection he loves, I don't want them to wear out.
Tide with Wear Care. Unlike regular powders, it helps prevent damage to cotton clothes, so they last longer.
He's starting to fit in really well, at least in most cases. Well, we've been a band for about 4 years now, but we've been a family for over 16 years. We've got pictures just from like when we very first started, you know. This was our first county fair. We take our pictures into Walmart because usually we're there anyway.
We just drop off the film and we go shopping.
I like this picture of Katie right here. Can you guys close up on that?
At Walmart.
Their quality is great and the price is right. It's definitely fun to see how the kids have changed. They've grown so much, and it's good that we have that in pictures.
Up until the mid-20th century, the pool of shark knowledge was comprised of fishermen's salty tales and chance encounters by bathers. Though virtually nothing was known about sharks, all could agree on one thing. They were notorious man-eaters. So in the mid-1960s, a facility on the west coast of Florida, Mote Marine Laboratory, began to enlarge the body of shark knowledge. The hope was that this knowledge could be used to protect humans. Today at Mote Marine Lab's facility in Sarasota, the focus of shark research has turned away from attacks and instead looks at the shark's unique biology.
Shark research since the early 1960s has really focused on trying to get to know these animals. So they're such elusive animals. They're large ocean-going animals. They're hard to observe. So the last 35 years or so, we've built up this basic knowledge of these animals. We're now in a position to start applying technology in a very focused way on specific questions that we have, now that we know a little bit more about the animals.
This is the easiest one, the most trainable shark.
Although what sharks eat has been thoroughly studied, how their famous jaws actually work has remained a mystery. Dr. Phil Mota of the University of Southern Florida is working with Dr. Huter to take the first in-depth look at how sharks put the bite on their prey.
Despite what you would think, actually not much is known about how sharks feed and their feeding mechanics. We see what we call ram feeders, those are sharks that overswim their prey. Suction feeders, those are sharks that suck their prey in. Sharks that bite and gouge pieces out of their prey, like the white shark. And then what we call filter feeders, like the whale shark and the basking shark.
Mota and Huter are currently studying a suction feeder known as the nurse shark. Commonly found in tropical waters, nurse sharks can suck in prey like a powerful vacuum.
The nurse shark feeds, its entire bite lasts about 90 milliseconds. That's 90 thousandths of a second. So they're incredibly rapid bites. Suction is so powerful that they'll dismember their prey and pull it apart when they suck it in. They also eat crabs, crush them with their teeth, and it's reputed that they can actually suck live conch out of their shell.
The scientists are in the process of unlocking the secret of how the nurse shark creates that kind of suction. Cutting-edge technology is the key. To facilitate their experiments, a small population of nurse sharks is maintained at Mote's main facility in Sarasota. From these tanks, a test subject is selected, then anesthetized.
Just a little bit more. So it's been 11 and a half minutes.
And when the shark is completely under, we then take the shark out and we're putting this water percolation system through its mouth so that the water with the anesthetic is circulating through the mouth to keep it alive and also to prevent damage to the shark when it's under anesthetic. And then we're implanting electrodes through these hypodermic needles into the head.
Sometimes when we locate the muscle by palpitation, you can just feel it under the skin. We've done dissections of other nurse sharks to know where their muscles are.
Every muscle has 2 wires, so we have implanted today 20 wires going into the shark's head. These wires are about the diameter of a human hair. And then we are connecting 25-pin connectors. This is a computer connector on the end of the wires so that we can hook this up to our apparatus.
Once it's fully adorned with a crown of electrodes, the sleeping shark is carefully lifted into the bite tank. Special care must be taken not to snap or tangle the hair-thin wires. The wired shark is then prompted to feed, its every move recorded.
At the same time, we're videotaping this with the high-speed digital video recorder. That could be a really active muscle. Electromyography allows us to actually see which muscles are contracting.
And bite. Beautiful suction. Very good suction. Gone in completely in one thing.
And by synchronizing it with the video photography, we now, without actually sacrificing the animal, we have a very good idea of which muscles are driving the feeding mechanism.
In this case, we have about 10 different muscles and 10 different channels working at the same time.
So we're getting a very detailed look at how this mechanism works, how everything meshes together. It's to understand really where sharks fit in the animal kingdom and how they've evolved and adapted to be really the supreme predators they've been for over 400 million years.
Shark research, driven by an increase in public interest in the fish, continues to evolve. One of the most intriguing and controversial studies has involved the shark's immune system and the discovery that these animals possess a natural resistance to cancer and other diseases.
The idea that sharks have a natural resistance to disease first came from reports from fishermen who said they never saw a sick shark, that these animals always look so clean in the wild. It became obvious over a period of time that sharks and their relatives had an extremely low incidence of cancer.
To understand why sharks seldom develop tumors, Mote scientists began exposing the predators to heavy doses of known cancer-causing chemicals.
Spent about the first 10 years of this time exposing sharks and skates in a controlled laboratory environment to chemicals which were known to produce cancer in other experimental animals like mice, rabbits, and guinea pigs. And in 10 years of doing this kind of research, we were never able to induce tumors in these sharks. Not only were we not able to produce tumors in these animals, we were not able even to produce the earliest changes that would suggest that a change toward a tumor development was even going on.
Now, armed with scientific proof that sharks seldom develop cancer, Dr. Luer set out to find what was so special and different about the animal's immune systems. His test subjects would be clear-nosed skates, close cousins to sharks with identical cancer-fighting ability. These tiny creatures are ideal test animals because, unlike sharks, they reproduce rapidly in a laboratory setting. With the help of the skate, Luer and his team set out to define and analyze the cells that fight disease in sharks and skates, and where in the body those cells are made.
As we understand these functions, we can understand maybe how the shark has resisted disease so efficiently for the last several millions of years. But the applications to human medicine are still a long ways off.
Despite the need for more research, shark cartilage became a highly publicized, off-the-shelf cancer cure in drugstores around the world. According to a popular but highly controversial book, the ground cartilage of sharks, taken in pill form, was said to reduce the size of tumors in numerous cancer victims. It was an industry, according to Luer, that was based on the unproven theory that shark cartilage was responsible for fighting cancer.
Unfortunately, enterprising individuals have made tremendous leaps in the logic. First, claiming that sharks' low incidence of cancer is due to the fact that they have a skeleton made of cartilage. We can isolate insulin from the pancreas of a pig, but to treat diabetes, we don't grind up a pig and eat it orally in an effort to combat diabetes. It's the same kind of logic that is being used here to promote the use of ground cartilage to ward off cancer.
The mystery of how sharks have survived on this planet for hundreds of millions of years, while untold numbers of other animal and plant species perished, is still unsolved. But shark research is progressing as quickly as the technology used to study them. Technology that has turned the entire ocean into a laboratory. The foundation of all shark research is to learn how sharks function in their environment, and the latest in miniature computers and satellite transmitters are crucial to this task. From space, scientists are now tracking the day-to-day movements of the largest and one of the most mysterious sharks in the sea, the whale shark. Reaching lengths of over 40 feet and often weighing more than 25,000 pounds, the whale shark has both frightened and fascinated humans for centuries. Yet ironically, it is both the biggest and perhaps the most docile of all sharks. The mystery surrounding the whale shark is as big as the animal. Virtually nothing is known about its daily life. But that is about to change.
Up next, how deep can whale sharks dive? And where do they go at night? Satellite tracking is finding out in days what it eluded researchers for centuries.
Is your small business experiencing growing pains? The U.S. Postal Service has tools to help your small business manage shipping costs, whether your packages are big or small, domestic or international. The U.S. Postal Service, helping small business to deliver the American dream.
C-Dot. C-Dot run. See where Dot gets all her energy.
I love this bed.
Sealy Posturepedic. We support you night and day.
You're watching the Discovery Channel. Up next, natural-born killers on Nigel's Wild Wild World.
When your child has a high fever, you head straight for the Children's Motrin. When you're hurting, don't you wish there was a mom's Motrin? There is Motrin IV. Fast, long-lasting, able to beat tough pain in a single dose. Motrin IV for moms who don't fool around with pain.
Plastic is anything we ask it to be. At our defense in times of risk. Close at hand to help safeguard our lives and forever evolving before our eyes. It's in the airbag that protects us and a cell phone to connect us. An answer when we need it most. Plastic carries our hopes, letting us all look forward to a safer, more brilliant tomorrow. Plastics make it possible.
Tonight on the Discovery Channel, Nigel Marven reveals the deadliest natural-born killers. Then catastrophes that push you beyond human limits. Later, a little girl stops her cancer treatments on a time to live.
The face has 44 muscles.
Oh, what a face! 7,000 expressions.
A face only a mother could love.
No two faces are exactly alike.
We're doing an about face and turning everything you thought you knew about the face upside down. Join TLC and John Cleese for a closer look at the practical, beautiful, changeable, remarkable human face. Don't miss this two-night television event, tonight at 9 on TLC.
AC got you hot? Need a plumber? Electrical problems? Appliances on the blink? It's time to call ARS. For all your cooling, plumbing, electrical, and appliance repair needs. Right now, call ARS for an exceptional summertime special. Get $350 off an AC system or 1 year same as cash. Your choice at ARS. Call today. ARS 713-777-7777.
In the last 5 years. Just call or go online. Tell them what you want, and right to your front door comes America's favorite PC.
Thanks, Steven.
Now you can get a Dell desktop with an Intel Pentium 4 processor, which delivers performance where you need it most. And 6 months of DellNet by MSN Internet access for just $9.99. Call or go online today, and shipping is free. There's great deals on notebooks, too.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
Easy to buy, easy to own, easy as Dell.
Next Monday, go back to school with the Discovery Channel. This is the classroom. These are your teachers. Go back to school all day next Monday beginning at 9 a.m. Only on the Discovery Channel. Wild Discovery.
Off the Central American country of Honduras, on a tiny island named Utila, the Shark Research Institute has set up a field station at Utila Lodge to monitor whale sharks. Dr. Alex Antonio is preparing to use cutting-edge satellite technology to get a close look at the lives of these huge fish. Once activated, the tag transmits whale shark data to orbiting satellites. The information is then relayed back to Earth, where Antonio can download it for use in his study.
Okay, unit is ready for deployment. Disconnect cable and go for it.
This type of technology has been successfully used on other marine animals. Antonio and his team will be one of the first to use it on whale sharks.
The satellite tag is going to provide us with the information that we need so that we can study behavior and migratory patterns of the whale sharks. We know that the whale shark will come to the surface to feed, so when during the day it comes to the surface to feed, where does it go at night? Does it stay at the surface at night, or does it dive deep? And that's the kind of information that the new technology, the satellite tags that we are using, will be able to give us.
Whale sharks are believed to migrate from place to place throughout the tropics. But Utila seems to be the one place where they reside year-round. Here the giants gather to feed, vacuuming the sea of tiny fish and plankton. Like the great whales, whale sharks are filter feeders, sucking in thousands of gallons of seawater per minute and swallowing the prey that is collected on the spongy tissue that lines its gills. Slow-swimming leviathans spend much of the daylight hours feeding along the surface where their prey congregates, and here they often become prey themselves. In the western Pacific, and most notably India, heavy hunting of whale sharks for their meat and fins has resulted in a worldwide decline in whale shark sightings.
Whale sharks are an easy prey. We know that they move slowly when they come to the surface. A lot of times they are almost stationary when they're feeding. It's an easy catch for fishermen, and that's what's been happening in other parts of the world.
The goal for Antonio and the Shark Research Institute is to use the satellite technology to find out if Honduras does indeed have a resident population, and if so, to make recommendations to the Honduran government to protect these highly vulnerable animals. The ocean surrounding Utila abounds with marine life. A sharp drop-off in the continental shelf around the island brings deep, nutrient-rich waters close to shore. Fish amassing in schools by the hundreds of thousands often congregate here in a spectacular feeding frenzy. This spontaneously erupting event, fish feeding upon fish, eventually attracts the largest fish of all.
I mean, it's just a white froth that's just the tuna are leaping out, feeding on the little bait fish that are in the area, and then right behind them, coming in the middle, would be a whale shark with its mouth agape, just gulping in those little minnows, those bait fish, getting its fair share of that soup, if you like.
Looked like a good school, so hopefully there'll be one in the middle then.
Antonio readies the tag. Though a shark has not been spotted at the surface, he believes one or more may be feeding somewhere below. The curtain of foaming fish often conceals a giant in its midst, but surprisingly, the giant is mysteriously absent.
Yeah, I was very disappointed. I've never seen so much activity, actually. So much tuna, so much bird action. First time I've ever seen so much activity. It's absolutely amazing. And not to find a whale shark in the middle is like equally as amazing.
Then, without warning, a deadly predator materializes from the depths and streaks toward the surface. A curious saltwater crocodile, perhaps attracted by divers in the water, is an extremely rare and unwelcome sight. For the divers, it's time to scramble back on board and evaluate the croc's intentions.
A little apprehensive about getting in, but can't miss these opportunities, you know. They only can come once in a lifetime here, so let's go see what he's doing down there.
They can appear sluggish on land, but the crocodile is highly agile in the water, with a reputation for attacking swimmers and even boats. The textbooks call this man-eater the largest and deadliest reptile on Earth. But the team soon discovers that, like sharks, the crocodile's reputation for mayhem may be exaggerated. Diving to 80 feet with Antonio in pursuit, this juvenile appears more interested in escaping than attacking. It has apparently become weakened after getting caught in an offshore current, and the team decides to take on the role of rescuers. Crew member Jeff Reed volunteers to corral the creature, using only a fishing pole and sturdy line. The exhausted reptile musters a desperate attempt to escape. The wildly twisting croc tires quickly. For their own protection and the croc's safety, the crew binds it. The capture demonstrates a change in perspective in Honduras. Not long ago, it would have been killed on sight. Now, as night falls, the Honduran crew members prepare to release the animal into the safety of the mangrove swamps that ring the island.
There were once a lot of these animals here, reptiles here on this island, but they were hunted to extinction. And it's the second one I've seen in my life. So I let him go and let him try and survive and live another time. Beautiful.
When we come back, the first voyage of its kind. A satellite tag sends back its first message from the far reaches of Whale Shark Universe. This program is brought to you in part by Sealy Posturepedic. We support you night and day.
Morning, Bob.
Morning, Heidi.
I'll be filling up your soccer.
Want to make the most of your day? Make the most of your night. Sealy Posturepedic.
I love this bed.
We support you night and day.
When your child has a high fever, you head straight for the children's Motrin. When you're hurting, don't you wish there was a mom's Motrin? There is Motrin IV. Fast, long-lasting, able to beat tough pain in a single dose. Motrin IV for moms who don't fool around with pain.
You're watching the Discovery Channel. Up next, natural-born killers on Nigel's Wild Wild World.
Well, it's nice to see you all. It really, really is. Isn't it, honey?
Oh, yes. We must do this more often.
Thanks for coming.
Where will you find the money to pay for long-term care? Conseco long-term care insurance protects you so you don't lose your nest egg. Conseco, step up.
What if you could return your dog back to a healthy weight? Peter Imes weight control formula in the blue bag. It allows her to gradually reduce weight by helping turn fat into energy, which could add years of splendid health to her life. Imes, good for today, good for tomorrow, good for life.
Quitting smoking? Then you know how mornings can be. And you should know, Nicoderm CQ gives you a higher morning level of medicine than that round store patch, and stays higher all morning long. So stick with Nicoderm CQ.
Next, Nigel is back.
The things I do for Discovery.
Join adventurer Nigel Marvin on a quest for curious creatures.
He's absolutely gorgeous.
Next, Nigel discovers the killer instincts of nature's top predators and reveals the world's deadliest natural-born killers. Nigel's Wild Wild World, coming up next at 8 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel. And visit Nigel's fan site at discovery.com for exclusive clips of Nigel's shark encounter.
Wild Discovery.
A spotter plane has located a whale shark 3 miles north of Utila and radios its position to Antonio aboard ship.
I think we got one. Okay, let's get ready.
To successfully attach the tag, the team needs an adult shark at least 25 feet in length. This specimen is nearly 30. Now, Antonio will attach the tag using a specially designed spear gun. For the spear to penetrate the shark's armor-like skin, Alex must wait until the giant is only inches away before firing a shot. The stainless steel anchor penetrates and holds the tag in the thick skin of the shark's back. Immediately, the tag begins collecting data.
In essence, these satellite tags will allow us to peer into the day-to-day lives of a whale shark so that we know where it's spending its time during the day and also during the night. And something like that we wouldn't have dreamed of just a few years ago.
The information about the whale shark's movements is stored in the tag until it surfaces.
The satellite tag is programmed so that as the tag is surfacing, it starts to wake itself up incrementally so that when it breaks the surface, it starts to transmit within a quarter of a second.
3, 2, 1. Engine start. Engine start away. Engines are out. And liftoff. Liftoff of NOAA-D, the world's latest weather eye in the sky. Burn your engines are up.
The collected data is then beamed up to one of 8 Argos satellites that continually orbit the Earth. From space, information about the shark's movements is downlinked to Earth stations where the encrypted data is received and then sent electronically to Antonio in the field. The information is then deciphered and sorted in bins. Instantly, Antonio gets his first look at the daily diary of the biggest fish in the sea.
Bin 1 is 20 meters or shallower, and you can see we got 7 hits in the 20 meter or shallower depth bin. If we go along bin 2, we didn't get any hits in bin 2, didn't get any in bin 3. The deepest it went down, we got 2 hits in bin number 5, which is the 320 meter bin. So that's about 1,000 feet. So we know that the whale shark went down to 1,000 feet. I mean, that's exciting. How could we know that without this kind of technology?
Already, the research is showing a definite pattern of activity.
The whale shark tends to have a typical workday, if you like. It seems to spend most of its time at the surface between 9 and 5, and then during the night hours between like 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning, it tends to dive down.
As Antonio and his team continue to tag more whale sharks, data downloaded from the satellite will slowly reveal what biologists could until now only presume. As more sharks are tagged and data collected over months and years, a near complete life history of these gentle animals could be revealed for the first time.
But there's more to a whale shark's life than what it does at the surface. Nothing is known about whale shark breeding behavior. There's never been a whale shark witnessed giving birth. So these are all questions that still need to be answered, and we're hoping that the new satellite tag technology will allow us to answer a lot of these questions.
The search for answers has taken the team from satellites in outer space to powerful microscopes that probe the realm of inner space. The Honduran whale shark's DNA will be sampled to determine their genetic makeup and link to other whale sharks found worldwide.
Another key component to the study is the DNA testing that we have started to do. We collect tissue samples using a biopsy tag head that we've adapted for one of our spear guns, whereby we extract some tissue from the whale shark skin. We have the spear gun right here that the biopsy needle is attached to. We'll shoot it in the whale shark, and then we'll pull the spear out, and as we pull it out, the biopsy needle will scrape the tissue sample out with it. We take it back to the lab and we do some DNA sequencing to determine the genetic makeup of the whale shark.
We basically can look at the mutation data and see whether throughout the oceans of the world we have one global species, which would be essentially one genetic sequence, or whether in specific locations we find differing patterns of mutations in that genetic sequence, which would key us into the fact that they've been reproductively isolated for a significant period of time.
So a combination between the satellite tagging, tracking the whale sharks, where they're migrating to and from, and then the DNA testing, the genetic relationship between whale sharks here and whale sharks in other parts of the world will enable us to answer the question of whether we're dealing with one global population or whether we have isolated populations scattered around the world.
For the Shark Research Institute, conducting cutting-edge research not only reveals the secret lives of whale sharks, but is also a valuable tool in publicizing the vulnerability of these giants. Thanks in part to their work, in 1999, legislation was passed declaring the whale shark a protected species in Honduran territorial waters. And a program of ecotourism is being developed here to allow the curious to get close to whale sharks without touching or harming them. Shark research has come a long way since the days when these animals were viewed simply as a threat. Today, as we probe the depths of the ocean, we look at sharks in a new light. Superbly adapted apex predators, survivors, perhaps the most successful creatures this world has ever known.
always wanted to catch an anaconda.
He's fearless.
Look at that, sucking straight onto me.
He's fun.
Fantastic creature. He's absolutely gorgeous.
And he's putting the wild back into wildlife. Meet Nigel Marvin, a maverick zoologist who craves creatures. Animal Adventure charges back into prime time with Nigel's Wild, Wild World. Coming up next at 8 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel. See Nigel face off with a great white at Discovery.com.